Hey guys, Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you a shell challenge that I did a couple days ago. Maybe not, maybe 2 weeks ago actually. Yeah, well, in the grand scheme of things, that's a couple days ago. Please ignore the weird roofing. I was playing around with it before I started, and then I found something that I kind of liked, so I went with it. And yeah, that's sort of how we end up with what we end up with. It is very odd, very strange. Not sure I like it, but it's something, that's for sure. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think about this roofing because I'm still very unsure about it, but I guess it works. I don't know. And this was done for a room shell by the wonderful SariasLP over on Twitch and Instagram. Um, Sarias has quickly become one of my favorite people to hang out with over on Twitch. And in fact, like I hang out there so much so that I'm actually a mod over there now. Just because yeah, I spend so much of my time over there hanging out. Might as well help out. So yeah, definitely check out Sarias. She's an amazing builder, refuses to accept it. And yeah, I did this shell, I think the morning of. I think I spent like an hour or two beforehand working on it, and then yeah, like half of her stream when she was touring the builds to work on the rest of it. So, you know, and the video that's gonna come out next, I started that one the day before, but did the same sort of thing. Like worked on it for the day before, worked on it a little bit at the morning of, and then continued to work on it during the stream because I always leave it till last minute. But her next shell, I definitely cannot do that because um the, look, there's 15 of them. You get to pick one. You can do more if you want, and of course I'm doing more because why would I do less? Why would I pick the easy option when I could pick something that absolutely stresses me out? But no, I'm picking a certain amount. I'm not gonna say what I'm doing just in case Sarius listens because I want it to be a little surprise. Um, Sarius already knows that I'm doing all of them, but doesn't know how I'm doing all of them. But that's sort of not the point. The point being, I did this shell and I did it the day before, the day of, and I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's not perfect and it's a little weird, but I'll take it. So the point of this is it's a room shell. So if you've never heard of a room shell, it's where you get a bunch of walls that create one room, such as this weird shape. I have added walls, and that's just because I'm trying to find curtains that fit it. And I end up hating it all, so I delete it. But realistically, with a room shell, it's just supposed to be a room, so I tried to make a full house out of it. And I think I did pretty good. It's sort of like a weird, sort of, I don't want to say bougie and fancy, but I guess sort of semi bougie and fancy. Almost think of it like, you know, like a hotel room is usually pretty fancy, pretty nice. Like it's not usually trashy. I kind of think of it like that. Like this is maybe like a fancy hotel room that with a really odd shape. Um, but this is where someone lives, and I don't know. It was really fun to kind of mess around with and try new things. I don't normally do shell challenges because, well, I don't. Oh, I don't normally do room shell challenges because I don't normally participate in room building just in general. Although I did do Tiny Snub's Pokemon Shell room challenge ages ago, like last year maybe. I think it was last year. And yeah, working on that was really fun, but it was a different it was supposed to be a Pokemon type inspired room shell, so you just had to put the type into that room, and I decided, screw it, I'm gonna do all 18 types. And I guess that's kind of where the Pokemon build series came from, potentially. Again, I have no idea where it came from. I'm terrible with these things. I don't know if that was what inspired me or if that was something that subconsciously inspired me. It definitely had a role to play. That's for sure. Like no doubt that had a role to play. Um, and the evolution townhouse builds that I did were inspired by the Pokemon build series, because I really wanted to do a townhouse series of townhouses, but then I was like, I don't think I want to do the townhouses because I want them to be all separate builds. And I mean, look how long that build series took me. So yeah, definitely doing individual smaller builds. And I've even started, like, I've as I've mentioned before, I've worked on some of them, but I've even started working on not just the builds, but like editing them and coming up with shorts and things like that. Yeah, very exciting. Uh, but when I get back from my little mini trip I'm going on today, in fact, I'm leaving in an hour and 15 minutes, to start the trip. Um, yeah, I've got to come back and do a bunch of builds. I'm hoping when I get back, I can get like a certain amount of builds done, and because it's Christmas, I'm not going to be expected to do a lot, which is fantastic. And some of my roommates are going away, which means I can just build as much as I want and not have any. I don't want to say judgment. Judgment's not the right word, but like, no one's going to be questioning, "Are you okay? You've been spending a lot of time in The Sims. Like, are you okay?" Like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just doing lots of building. But don't worry, I'm still gonna get out and about and whatnot. On the days when it won't be as hot. Um, which I'm really hoping they're not gonna be as hot because I just over sweating, to be honest. It gets to every summer and I'm like, I'm sick of this. I'm done. I'm done. I'm over it. Let's just not sweat anymore ever again. Let's move to a cold country and I'll put up with the cold. But then it gets to winter and I'm like, all right, that's it. Let's move to a hot country. I don't care about the heat. I'm done. Basically, what I need to do is move to a country that's just a consistent temperature, which doesn't really exist, I guess. Um, I don't know. I'll figure it out one day, I guess. But either that or I'll figure out how to deal with the extreme temperatures. But the thing with Australia, though, everyone expects it to be hot, and it is. It is hot. But then you get to the colder months, and if you're not from Australia and you visit in the colder months, you do not expect it to be that cold. I've heard a lot of people say that, and yeah, it is cold, and that's partially because our houses aren't insulated properly. Like, yeah, I guess I don't know why they're not insulated properly, but they're not. Um, and then yeah, in winter, if you're in certain parts of the country, you get Arctic winds, which I guess do cover the whole country, but the further north you go, the less it happens. Um, like the less the Arctic winds reach. So yeah, you don't want the freezing cold. Don't go to like Tasmania because I imagine that'd be very cold. Personally not been there myself yet, but one day I will. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just why is it so hot or cold? Like, why can't we have a nice middle ground? But to be honest with you guys, I think I'd prefer to live somewhere that's just slightly cold. Um, like more cold than hot, just because then I wouldn't have to deal with sweating as much. And with um heating, like if you do have a properly insulated house, a lot easier to heat it than it is to cool it. Um, Even if you just want to heat one room, you can get a little portable heater, and I don't think they're as energy consuming as a portable air conditioner. Those are massively energy consuming. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I just, long story short, it's gonna be hot and it's gonna be cold, and I'm gonna be mad. That's the long and the short of it. But anyway, probably should continue talking about this build. So yeah, like I said, it's a room build, but I did something little bit sneaky, is I did build a room beside it, but then I went and deleted all the walls and the floor and the ceiling. I did put a roof on it, but I deleted the ceiling from the inside. So it is just windows, doors, and a roof. Um, and that I love the fact that I thought about doing that. Um, because otherwise I would have just had to roughly landscape this area, and I was not feeling confident in my landscaping. I still am not. I think that's something I will forever struggle with. But I do feel like I'm improving over time. Um, just yeah, watching the people who I know can landscape. I just take little tips and tricks from them. I've heard like yeah, layering is really handy. So if you have short, medium, and tall type plants and bushes and trees, it can really help layer it. And I've been trying to do that a bit. But my main thing that I do is I actually just take the plants from the world around. I don't use plants. Oh, I do sometimes use plants from other worlds if I'm feeling a bit more confident from other packs, but I mostly use plants that are from that world. So all the plants that are outside of the little fence area, they're all from what are we in Henford on Bagley? The chicken world. I can never remember the name of it. Cottage living, there we go. To me it's chicken world. It's just chicken world. There's no if, buts, or maybes about it. That's what it's called. Um, and it's interesting for sure. Like I don't get me wrong, I love a lot of these packs, and I'm so glad that we have them. But yeah, sometimes I just have no idea what they're called, and so they just end up being chicken pack. But there you can see I've deleted all the. I think I've deleted the wall. Yeah, you can see in the corners where the two edge window pieces meet up. There's no like it's not smooth and cornered. It's like a little indented because I took the walls away. And it's got no flooring and no ceiling technically. And I put some really fun, weird, wacky plants in there. Maybe not all of them are fun, weird, and wacky, but there's definitely some that are. And yeah, this little seating spot as well for whoever lives here. Excuse me, I just had to yawn. Like I said, it is a little bit earlier than I don't know if even know if I said that, but it's a little bit earlier than when I normally record videos. So yeah, a little bit tired still got the I was gonna say the dredges of tiredness, but that doesn't make sense. I'm still a little sleepy is basically what I'm trying to say. And I usually spend a little bit of time preparing to myself up in the morning and getting usually a cup of tea before I start recording. But I can't do that because my normal time schedule would mean that I would miss my flight. So yeah, and normally, like, I know some people would be like, how are you not panicking? How can you do something before flying? Like, when you got something to do, like, how are you not incapacitated for the whole day? I usually am. It's like I just can't do anything beforehand. But I set my alarm extra early just for this. Otherwise, I would have set my alarm for about an hour-ish anyways. To finish getting up and getting ready. I just have to put in like, you know, my hairbrush and toothbrush into my bag and a book and chargers and things like that. Actually, I think that's it. Toiletries, book, charger. And then I just have to get dressed. I'll have a shower, get dressed. And then everything else I need I'll have on me. So it'll be fine. But anyway, yeah. I was really also feeling in the mood for plants in this build, in case you couldn't tell. I do go around and put a bunch of plants in the room shell as well. I did want to put that random plant in, but when you shrink it down, it has a weird shadow. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that they've gone and thought about putting shadows into the things that we use because it sort of creates some sort of realism. but when I can't shrink something down because of the shadow, sometimes it bothers me. With plants, I'm not as bothered because it kind of just looks like dirt and I don't have to do terrain paint around that particular plant, and it works and I love it. But yeah, when it's like plant like that I shrink down and I can't do anything with, it makes me mad. Makes me very, very mad. But I guess it's okay, we'll live. Just use some different plants. That's what I end up doing. Um, yeah, it's, I think the rest of this video is mostly just putting plants around, and a few little seating areas outdoors. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, definitely let me know. I know we're still like in the middle of the video, but this is how many plants I put in, I think. Also, while building, you won't see this because I paused the recording, but while building, I'm pretty sure at this point the stream is already going. Sarias's stream's already going, and she's touring the builds, and I'm yelling at her like, "Slow down! You're touring them too fast." Um, and yeah, like I do pause the recording of the builds so that when I come to record it like this, you don't have random patches where I am just randomly pausing. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the fun bit of doing things off stream, because when I stream, I like the breaks, I can't just, I mean, I could pause the recording, but I would forget to play it, so I don't want to risk not having a section of the recording, so I just have to edit it all out, and it's a lot of time. It's very time consuming. So yeah, definitely not keen on having to edit some of these videos that I do, because I know there's so much in them that I have to edit. But I mean, it's what you have to do when you make videos. It's a lot of editing. That's the one thing. When I first started this, I was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be so much fun. I'll do these fun little videos and record them and upload them, and it'll be fun and fine and fantastic and whatever. And when I first started, I was like, editing, meh, I don't need to do that. Like, my builds are okay, and if people like them, they'll watch it. But like, no, you won't. I'm not gonna watch, personally, I'm not gonna watch a video where there's like a 30-second gap of just no movement because you didn't edit that out. And yeah, I was like, well, if I have that expectation, maybe I should put that same amount of effort in if that's what my expectations are. So yeah, definitely started to edit my videos a lot more and a lot better, because yeah, I really didn't want to put out subpar builds, I guess, and videos. Now yeah, there's just lots and lots of editing. And if anyone's wondering, I use a free program called Blender. It does have a video editing section, and it's pretty, I don't want to say pretty basic and simple. I reckon you could do some really fun, funky things in it. I was gonna say funky and fancy, and that just didn't work out in my mind. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you could do some interesting things on this, but I am not all that, I don't, good's not the word, but like, I'm not all that technologically advanced, and I don't really have a desire to I guess get that sort of stuff done. Like, I don't need to. Um so yeah, definitely check it out if you want to make videos. You don't want to pay for anything. And I mean, I think I'm gonna stick with this forever. It works. I don't know why I would change it. If my video editing isn't gonna change, so I don't know why I would need to change um the, what's this called, the editing program, if my editing style's really not going to change all that much. Um, yeah, that's, if you feel like using that, definitely go ahead. If you don't want to, then go crazy with whatever you want to use, I guess. I know people use different things, and some people do need all of the fancy doodads and doohickeys and whatnot, but personally I don't. So yeah, just yeah, do what you need with that information. But yeah, we are getting close to the end of the build. I've got about a minute and a half, I guess, left of building, so I just work on the little plants out here, and then I think I work on the plants in the greenhouse if I haven't already done them. I'll be honest with you guys, have not been paying attention. But that's very usual for me to not pay attention. Because my brain's all over the place all the time. Yes, we do. Also, apologies if you can hear, I don't even know what it is. It sounds like someone's chopping wood in the backyard of their house. And I don't think any of my back neighbors have chimneys, which means they wouldn't have fireplaces, so I don't know why they'd be chopping wood. To be honest, I haven't looked to see what they're doing. But yeah, apologies if you do hear that in the background. But anyway, yeah, working on the last little bits of the build here, I decided to put some interesting, fun little interesting plants in here. I wanted it to be a bit different. Maybe something that you wouldn't necessarily see out in the wild of the world, but still something that would kind of match, I guess. Although I think I'm about to change it to something that absolutely does not fit the world. But anyway, yeah, we are getting very, very close to the end of the video, getting very, very close to the time I need to actually start getting ready and whatnot to go. Yeah, let me know what you thought of this room shell. And if you liked it, if you hated it, whatever. But until the next one, I hope you have a wonderful time zone, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye, guys.